Welcome to Uncommonly Good MTG. I am your host, Dr. Yukon Suckit. That is my given name. I have no intentions of insulting you at all. It's just Yukon Suckit. That's right. So if you happen to like this video, I'd appreciate if you please would hit the big thumbs up and show me your love. And if you even feel better, I'd love it if you could subscribe. Those numbers really help me out. All right, let's move on to talking about the deck we are focusing on today. Today we are looking at something I picked up over on AetherHub by a guy named Smiler. Thank you, Smiler. And it is a deck that is called, he called it Reincarnation Foretold. It's a little bit long, so it doesn't show up here, but Foretold is the last part. And I think that's because we got the Dream Devourer in here, which we haven't seen in a while, and that guy's pretty cool. I thought it was an interesting mono black deck. And let's take a look at the cards that are in there. We'll talk a little bit about what we expect it to do. So we've got Bloodchief's Thirst. This is getting a lot of play right now at the real low end because it's only one, and it destroys low end creatures pretty easy, pretty quickly. You can take out Generous Visitor. That's a great one. The Transient, or the Kami of Transients. Take that one out. It's all great. But then again, you could also, pay 4 and take out any Planeswalker or creature. We got Concealing Curtains, which goes out as a 0/4 defender, and you transform it for 3, turn it into a 3/4 with Menace, and you also get to take a look at their hand and get them to discard any non-land card that is there. So this is actually a great card, and I'm surprised we don't see it played more often. I mean, sure, you see it in discard decks all the time, but he's a great little blocker, and then even when he transforms into a creature, he's still good at blocking if that's what you need him for. All right, so we got Malakir Rebirth, and this one says target when you choose our creature, you lose 2 life until the end of turn. This creature gains. When this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. Now, this is probably that whole reincarnation thing. This is one of them, and we'll get to it. We'll get to where this is going to be useful. By the way, it's right here, Demon's Disciple. Acquisition Expert. So this guy, this woman, when she comes into play, she will, if you have to, your opponent has to pick a card and get rid of it. But you have to pick cards equal to the number of creatures in your party. I never play parties. I barely ever cared about what that meant. So it's usually just 1 card. Sometimes it's 2. You could go up as much as 5, I think, something like that. But it's hard to control unless you go out of your way to try to build a party, which is, what is it? Cleric, Rogue, Warrior, and Wizard. I guess it's only 4 is the most you'd be able to get out of it then. All right, so we have the Dream Devourer. So each non-land card in your hand without Foretell has Foretell. Its Foretell cost is equal to the mana cost reduced by 2. So what Foretell is that you pay 2 colorless and it goes into an exile state, at which point then you can play it for its Foretell cost after that. And so it'd be whatever it is minus 2 colorless. And it says whenever you foretell a card, so you put it into the exile state, this guy, the Dream Devourer, gets +2/+0 till the end of the turn. People are really scared of this card for some reason. They always try to kill him. If you got enough mana, it means you can pump them by 2 each time. Be 2 plus, +2 for each 2 you can pump into them. But you can only, do however many cards you have in your hand. And then you got nothing because they're already foretold. And they're way easier to get rid of, and nobody can make you get rid of them. And you can pay them for a lot cheaper. So it's a great place for stuff to go. Foretell is probably one of the best places to keep your hand. We got Nullpriest of Oblivion. She is also part of the reincarnation cycle. She only costs 2 to put out, and she's a 2/1 with Menace and Lifelink. So not bad, nice little card. But if you could pay the 6 for her with the kicker cost 6, then when she comes into the battlefield, return target creature card from your graveyard to the hand, right? And we're looking here at Demon's Disciple. I mean, the other ones that are really great would be like Junji here. We'll talk about Junji in the future. I bet you could probably even snag Tergrid if we needed to. There's really not that many creatures in this deck. All right, so we got Demon's Disciple. When it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. So imagine it this way. You put out Demon's Disciple, at which point you put Malakir Rebirth on it for 1 extra, So therefore, each one has to sacrifice a dude. You sacrifice Demon's Disciple. At which point then it dies, so therefore it returns to the battlefield tapped under its own control, which means it's going to force them to sacrifice another creature or planeswalker. So, and then you can sacrifice it or some other card if you have it. But anyways, so for 4 mana, you'd be able to kill 2 dudes. It's of their choice, not your choice, but, you know, that's pretty good still nonetheless. Nullpriest of Oblivion, same thing. If you have 6 you put out of the place, you can grab a Demon's Disciple. And that way, for 6 mana, you'd be able to kill something as well. And then you can choose whether you want the 2/1 lifelink or the 3/1 for the future. We got Inscription of Ruin. I love these cards. And it's 3 altogether. What is that? 4, 7 if you want to play all of the effects. But target opponent discards 2 cards, what I usually use it for. Return target creature with a mana value of 2 or less. Unfortunately, that's not Demon's Disciple. It would only be Nullpriest of Oblivion or the Dream Devourer. From the graveyard to the battlefield, or destroy target creature with mana value 3 or less. And that's fantastic in today's meta. That last one there. We got Pelakka Predation, which is a land, or you can reveal your opponent's hand and choose a card with a mana value of 3 or greater and tell them to discard it. And so it depends what you're getting at. This isn't really much of a discard deck. There's a little bit of it going on. If you're interested, then you can. Usually I just use this for the land. Soul Shatter. Okay, so this will take care of the creature or planeswalker with the highest mana value amongst creatures that the planeswalkers they control of each opponent, right? And it's an instant, which is great. So a lot of times you end up using this to wipe out man lands, provided they have nothing else, because man lands have 0 for mana value. So if they got nothing else and they're coming at you with a man land, this will kill it. Otherwise, you'll get whatever else is highest out there. It's got great art, by the way. We got Agadeem's Awakening, which is also a land, but it says here that you can return any number of target creatures that each have a different mana value of X or less. Usually playing this for 1 or for 2 extra, because that would be 4 or 5. And so if I were to have mana value of, so the only thing you could potentially do, God, if you pay, because we have nothing that costs, oh yeah, this guy costs 1. So that's 1. These 2 guys here are 2. That guy is a 3. That's pretty much it for what you can get at Agadeem's Awakening. I mean, if you were like flush with mana somehow, you could dig around for the Eradicator Valkyrie, and maybe the dragons or the Tergrid, but yeah, more than likely not. So the Eradicator Valkyrie is a flying lifelink hexproof from Planeswalkers, which last night, first time I saw this guy really just sit there and spit in the opponent's face, because all they had the ability to do was wipe out people with Planeswalkers, and he just sat there and didn't care. You can boast and sacrifice a creature, which we don't have many creatures. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. Now, the good thing about that whole, the opponent has to sacrifice something, it has to come down to Tergrid. Because then Tergrid says whenever an opponent sacrifices a non-token permanent, that you may put that card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. So anytime you force them to sacrifice something, which a lot of your cards do, then you get to take it. And discard would be the other thing, which is what you're forcing as well. So, I guess this thing is playing into Tergrid's ability. I hadn't noticed that till just now. We got Hagra Mauling. It's another land card, but in this case, you can destroy target creature if you wish to use it that way. It costs 4. It costs 1 less to cast if an opponent contains no basic lands. That first sentence there, it happens so infrequently. I've almost never seen it. Usually it's the first turn or 2. You're like, wow, how does Hagra Mauling only cost 3? But then all of a sudden they get a basic land around 3rd, 4th turn, and everything is back up to 4 again. We got Junji, the Midnight Sky. There's 2 of them in here. He's a 5. He's a 5/5 flying in menace. Great dragon there. But then we got, if he dies, each opponent discards 2 cards and loses 2 life. Or you put a non-dragon creature card from the graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, and you lose 2 life. Demon's Disciple. So, you got a lot of little, creatures killed. See, I think the whole reincarnation thing is all about throwing out your Demon's Disciples, letting them kill stuff, letting them go to the graveyard, or, trying to bring them back using the various reincarnation tricks in this deck. And that causes them to sacrifice, which if you got Tergrid out, will make those things become yours. There's a vicious, like, infinity cycle of getting Demon's Disciple out and then forcing those things to become your things, at which point you have a nice overwhelming force and they got nothing. So there's Tergrid, and like we already talked about, that while Tergrid's got 4 or 5 in menace, but while she's out, you get the stuff that they sacrifice or discard. On the flip side, you can make it into Tergrid's Lantern, which you can tap it, and they have to lose 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. So if you had both Tergrid and the Lantern out, it's a nice combo. Plus, if you got 4 extra mana, you can untap the Lantern and do it again. Do it a second time. In fact, last night I had the ability to do it 3 times a turn. This card was holding down the entire deck, all my action on my deck, the entire thing myself, and ended up winning the game. It won the game. We got Invoke Despair, which is probably one of the best black cards to come out. I used to think Toxroll was the way to go, but he's kind of fragile as far as he's easy to wipe with any sort of black spell. Everybody's got the ability to move him. Red's the only person who has a hard time, and green, I guess, because he's a 7. But let's stop talking about Toxroll. Anyways, Invoke Despair is fantastic. Target opponent sacrifices a creature. If they cannot, they lose 2 life. You do the same thing for an enchantment and a planeswalker. So either you're killing 3 of their permanents, or they're discarding cards and you're gaining, and they lose life, right? And so it's doing them a lot of damage. It costs 5. Seems bad, but you're playing mono black. It's not that bad. It's easy to get to, and you're going to do it. And other than that, we got 19 lands. Why only 19? Because we got lots of other things in here that are providing lands potentially. So hopefully you can use regular lands and not those others, but if you need to, they're in here, and that makes it so you have more of these cards and less of the lands. So there's nothing in the sideboard, and that is Reincarnation Foretold. Let's see how well it works. Alright, playing against Meinwerk. Alright, 3 mana. Lots. I can play everything for 3, so we're good. Keep. 2 Rainbow Fish. Let's break them up. Alright, Concealing Curtains. Okay, so that's all about non-creature cards. I could kill it right now, and that's probably a really good idea. Except I can block it easily. Let's just go ahead and Acquisition Expert. Suck it! Get rid of a card. It's probably a land. To advise in his shoes right now, I would not want to get rid of lands. Another Thalia. That's a good idea. You already got one out. They're legendary. Sealer Tergrid. I tell you, I think it's because of all of the pseudo rain, but this play set gives my graphics card a workout. Little computer's down there screaming right now. Well, they went out the Inscription of Ruin. Wow. All right. Another Tergrid. Okay, here's 3. And let's Demon Disciple. You got a flyer. I can't block nothing. Oh, they're going after my curtains. But they brought the room together. Alright, now I know I really have to kill. But of course I need... let's see. I don't care about that little guy. Oof, this is not good. Alright, this guy cost... I can only kill 2, and all these things cost way too much. Alright, I'm done. Alright, so my lack of mana, and I don't have any of my mana cards to even help me out here. Or my my split cards. Yeah, it's just starting to get the advantage due to it at this point. Demon Disciple's not going to do me any good sitting out here, so let's just go ahead and kill some. No mana! I mean, that's it. Game's over, right? We're done. No mana! And we're playing against PharoahLord. PharoahLord. 3 mana. And we got a 4th mana potentially. Let's keep it. Let's see, we're playing against the whole thing where you're gaining life. Let's see, I'm going to start off by just going down on this so I can get up to 4, which hopefully get me to 5 so we can invoke Despair. There's that super jerk. Now, this is exactly where we want to take somebody out. So let's do a Soul Shatter. Now we're setting up for that combo like crazy. Yeah, there we go. Come on, mana, give me what I need here. Let's go for the Pale Angel there. White control. Alright, excellent. The question is, should I take out Tergrid at this point? What do I got? Sacrifice? Let's do it. Let's see if we can make Tergrid work. Hopefully they're missing out on those creature kills there. Excellent. You want to see something fun? There we go. Here we go. Sacrifice it! Sacrifice it! And take some damage. And then... Yes. Yes. And we'll put out some curtains there. I'll attack. Alright, so that's how Tergrid works with a really good sacrifice card like Invoke Despair. And now Tergrid's dead. And it's exiled too, big time. Alright, what do I got here? Target creature with mana value 3 or less. Well, that involves... Did our boy get killed? Go to exile land? Is that the deal? Is he over here? No. Oh, maybe that was another game we had him. Alright, I'm looking for Baldy McBald. Let's go ahead and attack in. We'll take out the Wanderer. What does this take? 7. I've got 6 currently right now. I'm going to activate this ability. If there anything over here worth bringing back at this point? I'd have to pay a lot to bring him back, so that's not going to happen. Dream Devourer. And what's this cost here? 3? So we're done. Well, I could start... let's do this. Set it aside. I could have used it for pumping things up later. Probably would have been smarter. I can't do this anything because I don't have white mana. Alright, so it's 24 to 20. I have the advantage. Huh. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to pop this guy. We'll take a look at his hand. Ah ha 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 ha. Alright, we're going to get rid of Doomscar. And who are we going to go after here? We got the ability to do one guy. Let's make this guy a lot cheaper in the long run. And then we'll come in for an attack. I'd say I might put out the wedding invitation. Ooh, that came in. I'm top deck from him. Okay, so I can pop that guy's little head for practically nothing. And let's foretell. Let's foretell. See, this is the end of our foretell ability, pretty much. And I got 1 mana, so this guy is foretold. Is he legendary? No. Why can't I play this guy now? Oh, because he just got put into place this turn. You have to wait till next turn before you can play him. My ghost cards down here. I don't think you can foretell a land. Okay, he's got nothing in his hand. What can I bring back here? Anything. And it says with 3 or less. I don't have that. I got 5, 6, 7, which means I can Agadeem's Awakening. 1, 2, 3, 4. Autopay. No tax. He's going to try to maul me. Which is going to work because I am not blocking. Okay, we can pull off the combo on Demon's Disciple, so let's do it. Bring that into play. Okay, while that happens, can I play this fast enough? Come on, you gotta let me do it. I guess that's not a combo. Well, why the heck am I not gonna do this then? I guess it's if I want to sacrifice somebody else then potentially. Let's see, so let's come in for the flight. Is that an instant? Nope, it's a sorcery. So I'm going to play our pal the Devourer because I got nothing better to do with him per se. Just sort of use them for killing things, and then we will destroy target creature with mana value of 3 or less. And it's an instant, so we are done. Alright, we got lethal showing at this point. And he's got nothing, no creatures, nothing. Pass, and... there we go! Winner, winner! Victory dinner. And we're playing against Darkol. Donnie Darkol. And we got 1 mana, 2 mana, 3 mana. Let's do it. Let's do it. Keep. Try to play the slow stuff first. There's our curtains. What kind of red do you think we're playing against today? Won't be until 4 that we can actually put out our guy. For that, we're just killing dudes. They did not elect to have a pet. Standard mono red goblin. Alright, so I can wait till next turn to pop them. Let's kill that hobgoblin. Because if I get out my next card, that means I can pop the Concealing Curtains as well as put Bloodchief's, do a Bloodchief's Thirst on whatever they put out. Which is going to be at the low end, so I shouldn't have to pay. It should be 2 or less. And this guy was 2, yeah. That's the bad thing about Mono Red Goblin, is that they play cheap dudes. Well, there's a 3, can't play that. Alright. Activate ability. Look at my eyeball! Expensive. Cheap, cheap. Alright, so this is the guy I'm getting rid of. Put out this extra one, and what does this do here? It's just Honeymoon Hearse, huh? Yeah, I've never seen that before. It's been around for a while, apparently. And we're done, though. Oh, what could attack? Smoking smoke goblins. Yeah, I thought... so used to just using his ability, like, that's it. But nope, I could have attacked with them. That was 3 points down the drain. Well, if I lose by 3 points, you know this deck won. Wasn't the deck's fault. That tree's not real. Alright, who do we hate more? We're going to start off with some creature kill. What does this need? It's a vehicle, but it doesn't need any sort of thing whatsoever, huh? And no attacks. So what they don't like, see that 5/5, I mean, I think it just tracks on its own, doesn't it? Tap 2 untapped creatures you control, becomes an artifact creature until the end of the turn. You just have to tap any two. I don't quite understand that. Because he just put that out. I mean, it didn't matter at all. Alright, what do I got here? I got 5, which means if I want to be able to put the Demon's Disciple down, kill it, and use Nullpriest to bring him back, I'll need 6 before I can pull that trick off. Whenever a non-token modified creature you control dies, create a spirit token. Non-token modified creature. Okay, well, we don't have anything with modifications on it so far. That guy on their hand, that's not a modification. Question, should I just block that with both my guys, lose one of them? I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead, I'll block the little boy here. That way the down of damage being taken is only 3. Oh, I got another one. That is fantastic. There we go. Between all the life linking I'm going to do, which will be 8 per turn, I really don't have to worry about how much damage they're going to be dealing to me. So unless they can start shooting my Eradicators out of that, it's just, they look like they're all protected, but that's not true. It's only Planeswalkers. Kiki-jiki! Kiki-jiki! This is an interesting mix for a Goblin. I mean, number one, why would Goblins have a Honeymoon Hearse? Those fit's doing pretty well. As far as keeping to the theme. Oh, let's see. See, the other problem is Demon's Disciple will just take out one of their 1/1s. It's kind of a lame thing to do. He's looking to kill some of my creatures there. I can go ahead and Acquisitions Expert. What do you got? You got to pick it. Whatever you got in your hand, that thing's going away. Unless it's a land. It is a land! Oh, it had to go away anyway. Excellent. He's never going to have anything great. I might as well play the Demon's Disciple. It'll be fine. What's all that about? You want to kill the Honeymoon Hearse? Oh, he wants to put something in the way. That's all. See, this is a situation in which flying is fantastic. All right, so we're at 31. He's at 5. He's just going for it. He knows he's got nothing to lose at this point. Should I just give it to him? No blocks. Good game. Kiki Jiki! In the words of my people, victory! Alright, so this has been Reincarnation Foretold. And, you know, we talked about this deck ahead of time, and for all of the awesomeness you see interwoven in the story of this deck about how it's all going to be about putting out the cards and killing lots of things and going to your graveyard and coming back and doing it through another cycle and stuff, it didn't, you know, the reality of the situation didn't really work out that way. You know, just trying to get up to that 6 mana is rough to be able to make the Nullpriest do what the Nullpriest needs to do. People are playing with a lot of tokens, so the creatures that are out are easy for them to sacrifice. Malakir Rebirth doesn't have the ability to instant in on top of the Demon's Disciple. So, you know, if you're going to be playing it, you'd be playing it on one of your other creatures, probably. And then putting out the Demon's Disciple, and then sacrificing the creature, and then bringing it back. But I don't really know what the benefit is of all that. So, you know, it's okay. But like I say, this deck does work pretty well. It's mono black. It's got an interesting story. It causes people to sacrifice a bunch. They have to sacrifice and discard, which makes it a great Tergrid deck. And I probably focus too much on its other abilities just because it's called Reincarnation Foretold, which is all about recursion and foretelling. But those are just useful tools in making the Tergrid engine work. Now, on the other hand, Tergrid's hard to get out too. So, whatever. But, you know, there's enough going on with this deck that you got a lot of things to play with. If anything, I'd say it's a lot like the Inscription of Ruin. It's a Swiss Army knife deck that has lots of options, but you have to focus on what you want to play at the moment because trying to play them all is too expensive. So that's probably the best thing I can refer to this deck as. It's the Inscription of Ruin deck. You're making people discard, you're killing creatures, or you're turning things back from the discard. Wow, that is a fantastic metaphor, because that's exactly what this deck is all doing there. I would love to see some Junji. I love myself a good dragon flying around, but yeah, that didn't happen. There's only 2 in there. What's going to happen? You don't have a lot of card draw either. But yeah, it was a pretty fun deck, and there's, like I said, there's a lot to do. It's just, yeah, if you don't like feeling a little restrained because of the mana situation, this one could be a little frustrating, but I think it was fun. And if you decide to play this deck, I bet you'll have fun too. And that is all for now. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. From all of us here in the secret underground headquarters of Uncommonly Good MTG, have a great day. In the words of my people, be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes.